Feeling good?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Seriously Lighthearted Yoga. We're continuing our talk here about home practice. And what are we talking about today?
Yeah, guys, so practicing at home for whatever reason, again, there are sort of a few guidelines for what you're practicing as well, because you may not realize it at first, but when I'm sure with the first time you try and get on your mat and just do something, it might not work out that well. If you don't have some sort of like simple plan, structure for what you're going to be doing in the time that you're practicing, you might find yourself at a loss for what to do. So there are a few simple guidelines to, say, creating a flow. I would say, as far as creating a good flow, like keeping it simple, having something where you warm up, sun salutations, maybe finding some poses on the ground that get your whole body moving, your torso and your hips opening up. Find that first, then work up into the standing balancing postures. That's kind of where I would start. You want those in the middle. And then if you have an inversion practice, maybe practicing headstands or handstands right after those is a good place to kind of fit those in. And then from there, you kind of begin to transition back down to the ground, so you're back at seated postures, maybe doing some hip opening, maybe doing some of the flexibility things. And then at the end, always kind of find the relaxation at the end again. So Shavasana for those of us who practice yoga. When you're doing this also, guys, a few other tips for keeping a good home practice, trying to make it as consistent as possible. Remember, transitioning in is going to help with this consistency a lot. Another tip is if you are practicing because you don't get everything you need out of your yoga classes, maybe remember that you don't want to focus on only one thing in a class. You want to kind of keep your whole body moving, at least somewhat. So if you're trying to focus on only back bends, try and get a few other things in there as well. A couple of standing postures, a couple of seated postures, just to open up the hips and, practice your balance every day. The consistency, again, even in the different postures, is what's going to help you progress. And then the last tip I have is that if there's something you're trying to do at home but you don't really feel comfortable doing, don't do it. Remember that you don't have an instructor kind of guiding you and making sure that you have the right cues for getting into, say, the more difficult postures, or saying this posture is really difficult, like maybe watch yourself and you don't want to have hamstring problems, you don't want to have back problems, you don't want to have neck problems because of something that you did in your home practice. So if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it yet. Ask an instructor how they would do it and talk to them about your home practice and fitting it in. So.
Absolutely, yeah. This is something you keep in mind with home practice is there's an extra need to be safe because there's not anybody there that's necessarily supervising you, that's watching you, making sure that you're not going to hurt yourself if you're doing a posture wrong or something like that. So just err on the side of caution, be more patient, and maybe do things that aren't quite at the cutting edge of your physical ability until you've kind of gone past that, until you've kind of built up past that. So.
And remember, you're not alone. Like you can still go and talk to an instructor, like even once a month, and that can be helpful. So,
absolutely. So there's always plenty of resources out there, and so look into that. Give somebody a high five. See you guys all tomorrow.